So we start in 2 Minuten. We start in 2 minutes, 5:41.
God, welcome to Sunday morning in a crisp and icy Innsbruck in Austria. Just in the valley above the double Olympic city is the village of Eagles, and that's where we are sliding. The road down the hill is the 1964 Olympic track, and the 1976 Olympic track is our venue for the women's bobsleigh race, the second of the season. Good morning, everybody. I'm Martin Haven, delighted to be joined once again by Mika Moore, British slider. And Mika, it's going to be quick this morning, and that means that the intricacies of this short Eagles track are going to be even more difficult to attack.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day for it, isn't it, Martin? This track is one of our easier tracks, we know that, but it's how you get down quickly. It's a fun start for the brakemen. We're in the bigger sleds today, 2 women. We go into corner 2 here, big, long, rangy corner. Same corner 3. It's a bit slower at the top of the track. We're not going to see as much of an injection of speed until we get down to this corner here, corner 4, where the sled starts picking up speed. Through corner 5 and 6 and into the big swooping Kreisel. This one's a beautiful one to watch from the middle from. Here we'll see a little bit of difficulty with the exit. They've got to come out clean here, and then again coming into corner 9 before 10 there's a nice little straight, so we want a clean line through here. Long corner 10, it's a bit of a difficult one because it's a blind exit through this chicane, this 11, 12, 13 and into the final corner 14, where the brakeman's job becomes a lot more difficult. They've got this braking corner instead of a braking straight that they've got to manage.
It's one of the most difficult bits of the entire bobsleigh kingdom, isn't it? After the finish line here in the shortest track. Well, our World Cup points leader is last week's winner in La Plan, Lauren Alter, from Kim Kiki and Alana Myers-Taylor. Kiki pulled out of the Monobob races yesterday and on Friday with a leg injury, so we'll see how she's doing this morning. I think she will try and push with Leonie Fiebig and see where they end up, but the key thing for Kiki will be not to get injured. Kasia Love there on the right-hand side. She will be driving for the first time on this track. Last time she was here with Kaylee Humphries. They finished in 4th place with Justina Matson, her brakewoman, and Alana Myers-Taylor back on action in ice. Leonie Fiebig there in the black headband. Great little stat for her. She has had 16 consecutive podiums. That is a heck of a run. Unfortunately today, if Kaliki's not pushing strongly, that might come a little bit to an end. Well, you see the athletes warming up in the car park. Somebody forgot to turn on the underfloor heating. One of the cameramen was pointing out to me this morning. He's absolutely right. Nikki McSweeney and Kaya Placide will go off first for Team GB. And we have 19 sleds in our field, so if they all get down safely, they will all go through into the second heat. Race 2, BMW IBSF two-man bobsleigh World Cup. Starting us off in Innsbruck is Nikki McSweeney for Great Britain. Her second World Cup start, and her first was driving here in February this year. She also braked here in February 2015 in her career as a brakewoman. Behind her, Kaya Placid, 19-year-old, making her debut after just 2 bobsleigh races in Lillehammer a couple of weeks ago. Martin Haven and Mika Moore watching the action. Well, Nikki, a full-time horse and animal vet and physio, is a part-time bobsledder, self-funded, making her second World Cup start here in Innsbruck. Nice quiet start around the first couple of corners. 5:71, possibly not going to trouble the all-time start record. And for Kaya, her brakewoman, a first World Cup weekend after just one previous racing weekend on ice.
Yeah, and as we said, you know, she's a new brakewoman. This is her first World Cup competition, and what a fabulous start to it. You know, you can't ask for more than that. A nice clean getaway. 5:71. I'm sure she'll be messaging me later asking me how her hit was, because she's keen to learn, and that's what you want from a new brakewoman.
Absolutely right. Nikki too, still effectively learning the ropes, turns around and shouts, "Brake!" And you saw Kaya pop up there. There's not much room to brake here because there is a corner in the middle of the braking stretch. Stop! And they just drop onto the rubber at the end. 53.52 run. The all-time record set in February of this year is a second quicker than that. Just down a fraction early out of the Kreisel, rattled that inside wall.
Yeah, and this sled, Martin, is I believe being loaned by a dog. I know Nikki had a bit of trouble finding a sled for the season. Previous owner Misha McNeil, it comes from a good crop, but it's also being driven by an EC pilot. So it's a bit of a Team Britain communal sled now.
Well, wouldn't be the first, wouldn't be the last time that's happened. British sliders for a lot of years had to borrow sleds from the military teams. Next up for Poland, Linda Wyszewski with Marika Tandeka behind her. Second World Cup start for Linda, second World Cup start for Marika. They did race together in the World Championship St. Moritz in February of this year. Missed what it said on the socks there. Should say my way or the highway, obviously. 24-year-old driver, 28-year-old brakewoman. And Linda had a decent couple of days. 12th and 15th place in the Monobob races this weekend. It's been a 3-race weekend, so this is more like Europa Cup racing, Mika.
Yeah, it is. A 5:71 getaway for these two. They're a little bit of the smaller team that we're going to see throughout this race, but oh my gosh, do they push that sled. There's probably quite a little bit of weight in there, but these two are a powerful little duo.
Started at the same speed as the British duo, 300s up, so this is a very tight race from some of our less experienced drivers.
Yeah. Linda coming off 12th place as well. That's Poland's best Monobob result, so that's going to give her some positivity going into these bigger sleds.
Little skid from 9 to 10. She's dropped into the red. Nikki McSweeney, by the way, driving Brad Hall's BTC sled that he has given up to drive the new Ixent two-man that he used yesterday. So it's got good heritage. 53.57, 500s back between the two sleds. So there you go, there's the race for our first two starters in the second heat against each other. And both of them have rattled off the end of the run onto the rubber. It is difficult. You've got to get on the brakes immediately you cross the finish line and then get off them into the right-hander that follows. Otherwise, the sled will crash. And again, she just dragged it down a fraction early out of the Kreisel. Big, long skid that followed.
Yeah, and this is what you'll see when you're coming from the monos to the two-man sleds. It's a little bit different on the steering. You've got to be a little bit lighter with it, maybe. We'd finish off with the mono with a longer steer out of corners.
So GB and the first of our two Polish sleds, spoiler alert, are down. First two of 19. Next up, Victoria Czernanska from Slovakia with Lucia Mokrosova. Lucia, her 5th two-man or two-women World Cup race. Same for Victoria. These two have been paired together right the way through. Raced here in February to 12th position. Her World Cup best, 9th place though. And these two were in Whistler 2 weeks ago. They got a gold and a silver in the North America's Cup races. So clearly not afraid of a big fast track.
No, and I've been saying this about Victoria, that she's really progressing very well, and she puts us in those situations to be on difficult tracks, to have to learn them quickly. So I'm really liking watching her journey.
Nice smooth lines early on, but 3900s back. They were 2100s back at the start, and that will multiply all the way down. It's like racing a smaller engine car against a bigger engine car. If you don't have the acceleration early on, it's very hard to catch up. 3600s back, so they will be in 3rd place at the line of the 3 so far. Oh, hits the wall out of the final corner after the finish line, luckily, but I'm sure that will have disorientated the brakewoman a bit. I'm not entirely convinced that the braking stretch is quite as icy as it might be. Quite often a lot of snow goes in there, and that doesn't slow down sleds when they're going quickly. That going away shot in the lower labyrinth. If you hit the wall, boom, the brakewoman or the brakeman gets bounced up in the air. And we'll see in the 4-man this afternoon, if you hit there hard, then there are 3 backsides in the air, and that's an unusual hit to take as well off the final corner. 3 sleds down, race 2 of the BMW IBSF Women's Bobsleigh World Cup. We get to Alana Myers-Taylor, Olympic bronze medalist after a year away, back in harness, her 89th World Cup start. 14 of them at the back of the sled with her head between her knees. Jazz Jones behind her, a W-Cap athlete. Raced with Nicole Vogt here in February. 5:62 getaway. Now that's much more what we're expecting to see from some of our faster starters.
Yeah, and this is where we'll see Alana come into her own as well. We know on the mono she said that she's lacking a bit of fitness, so when she's on the 2-man, she's got brakewoman on the back. We'll see these better starts.
Alana's got 2 gold, 3 bronze, 3 silvers and 2 bronze medals on this track alone in her 40 medal haul from World Cup races. In fact, as a brakewoman, she's got a gold and 2 bronzes in that tally. It's a nice looking run. Again, Alana so smooth on this track, and that's what brought her the speed yesterday. 5th and 6th in the Monobob races on Friday and Saturday. 52.90, half a second away now from the all-time track record. It was not bitterly cold overnight, but cold enough, -4, -5. It's a clear day, so it's not humid, and that helps the ice retain that sort of hard edge, which should allow us to get close to records.
Yeah, and you know, with it being a double mono race as well, these girls have had some extra runs on the track, and all that helps.
What it does do, though, is take a little out of the fitness tank, and Alana with both her kids here, so she is full-time mum, full-time athlete, team chief, sled runner polisher, I mean, all of that going on.
That's an extra coffee in the morning, isn't it?
Yeah, and 2 very demanding young preschool kids. Anybody who's got 2 preschool kids knows that that is 100%, a 200% full-time job. Next up, Andrea Grecu for Romania. Finished 6th and 7th in the mono races. Finished in 6th place here in February's race with Teodora Vlads. Teodora has also done a bit of driving herself. She's driven, I don't think, for a couple of seasons, Teodora, so maybe just concentrating on the braking. 5:72 getaway, so 10th behind Alana and 100th behind both Nikki McSweeney and Linda Wyszewski.
Yeah, and in and down for the brakewoman. Like you said, Martin, she's done a bit of driving, which gives you actually a different perspective when you're a brakewoman then. You know, you'll know where you are on the track. She'll feel where she's going down now, coming into the Kreisel.
I spoke to Nadia Pasternak about whether or not, well, maybe it was Jennifer Onisanya, whether or not they were going to go driving. Yeah, tried it once. No, never again. And I can relate to that a little bit. You know, some people it
I like
suits,
being
some
in
it
the
doesn't. Like Andrea, how far back? 3,600s back now, so halfway back to Nikki McSweeney. I think she'll be second at the line. She pretty much should be 53.30. Some of the Romanians staying just across the road from the track here at the same hotel as our TV crew, so seeing them in the mornings. And the girls just stopping on the ice. Looks like a new sled for Andrea this season. Paul Niagu and Julian Pakianu very keen to keep pushing this programme along, and Paul, with his connections in Winterberg, has often been able to source a German sled or two. I think that's possibly unlikely to happen anymore with the FES sleds, but has helped them in the past. Alana Mars-Taylor leads from Andrea Greco and Nikki McSweeney. First 5 sleds down here in Innsbruck. World champions next up in the women's race in Innsbruck. Kim Kiki and Leonie Fiebig took the gold medal in February in St. Moritz. As we said, brakewoman Leonie Fiebig, 16 consecutive podium finishes. What a string she's had, more than Kim Kiki has, in fact, because they've not been together for all of those races. 26 World Cup start for Kiki. She and Lara Nolte, when they arrived, just started winning. 5.53. Okay, so Kiki putting in the effort on the front handle. I think her mentality is, if I'm going to race, I'm going to race.
Well, it's really difficult not to put on a race suit, get at the top of the track and kind of push it off the top, isn't it? You've got to go for it.
Jogging off is very much the antithesis. 98.9 kilometres an hour, very good speed. Faster than the quickest sled at that speed, which was Nikki McSweeney. Now quicker than Alana Mars-Taylor. She started 900s quicker than Alana, and that should translate into nearly 3/10 at the bottom of the track, and she's not quite got that margin. Didn't gain anything on Alana really below the corner 9-10 complex, so 52.68. Track record is 52.41, 2,700s away from the record set by Lara Nolte and Nele Skuten on the way to victory last year.
Oh,
yeah, limping a little bit, isn't she? Yeah. And again, you know, if you're making the leg hurt, then that's sort of burning away at you during the run, and yeah, you have to just completely ignore it.
Yeah, no, that was exit 9 here. I think Alana was slightly cleaner out of exit 9, a little bit of a skid from the back of the sled going into 10.
So Kim there, she's looking quite strained. Leonie Fiebig will have been doing the heavy lifting as much as humanly possible, trying to put in even more effort at the start to give them the getaway they need. Now then, our Olympic champion Lara Nolte took that title with Deborah Levy, who missed all of last season with injury and hasn't come back yet. Nele Skuten stepped into the breach. This is Nele's 8th World Cup start. She's got 4 golds and a silver with Lara in that time. Oh, that's a disaster for Lara Nolte. Just skated into the wall. Didn't have her hands on the D-rings as the sled came out of the grooves. There's a cut there to keep it straight while you're pushing. Absolute nightmare.
That isn't what you want at the top of the track, is it? And especially a track like this where it's so short and difficult to get back on track. I know that Lara had a little bit of trouble with her hands yesterday, so was she trying to maybe hold back a little bit on the push but run it a bit further? I don't know.
Yeah,
Handle was out all to
well, they were the winners here in February. It seems unlikely after that start they're going to win here. They're going to be hanging around behind Alana Mars-Taylor in 3rd place at the line. Still the 2nd quickest start, but then they went straight into the wall, a bit like Hansi Lochner last week. So 100 behind Alana, 52.91. I mean, where would she have been if she hadn't had that driving error? And that was getting in a little too late and not having control of the sled as it came out of the grooves. So she gets in. Does she get hooked up a little bit? Yes, she does. She gets hooked up. She didn't run too far. She just couldn't quite get in. Now she's steering. Watch the runners. too late. She hasn't had time to take the push bar in. Far more important things going on there. Well, she was looking forward to today's race. She's not the biggest fan of Monobob here. Hasn't gone entirely the way she would have hoped. 8th of our starters, Margot Bock of France, the Europe Cup champion of last year. 12th World Cup start for her, and the 8th for her brakewoman, Carla Seneschal. Solitude, the other brakewoman, has done the rest of the races. Let's see what they've got. Margot had a pretty decent Friday in the Monobob, 9th place, and 12th place yesterday morning.
5:72 on the start. We did see Margot getting out the sled at the bottom yesterday, but rubbing her shoulder, didn't we? Doesn't seem to be giving her any issues at the moment.
Yeah, I'm sure she would have been thoroughly pummeled yesterday afternoon. I mean, it wasn't a matter, I don't think it was a tear in anyway, it's just one of those crick things where you've just tweaked it a bit.
Yeah, which is so easy to do on a bobsleigh run, you know, all those forces going down through the body.
Well, and actually, it probably wasn't the start or the run, it was probably the finish area. 5th best speed, 5th place on the splits of the 6th fastest start. So they're pulling ahead of Linda Wyszewski and easing in front of Nikki McSweeney of Great Britain. Is this a top 5 run at the line? It's early in the run, but that could see her in the top 10. Ducks ahead for a 53.33. There's the rest of the Franco-Monegasque team watching in the coach's box. Nicely braked as well by Carla Seneschal. So the more experienced brake women getting a grip on getting the sled stopped. Now watch as she gets in, drops in. You've got to get your legs past the D-rings and onto the foot rests, and then drop your arms in. And that's exactly what Lara Nolter wanted to do, but one of her feet just got caught up. And the spikes on the shoes, Mika, means that if you catch them on something, it's sort of a bit hard to push past that.
Oh yeah, it's a real challenge getting in that sled. They make it look so easy.
That's what you spend all the time on the push track doing. Next up, Wai Mingming of China. 20th World Cup start in women's bobsleigh for Wai, and her 25-year-old brake woman, Wang Zhuan, her 13th start, made her debut here in November 2021. So she's come late to the party. It's only 2 years since she made her World Cup debut. She's crammed in a few races since then. In fact, this is her 13th World Cup start in 2 years. She must have done almost every single race there was to do. We only have 8 World Cups in a year. 5:64 getaway.
Yeah, not a bad getaway from these two.
Well, if you're a couple of hundreds behind Alana, that's not bad at all, is it?
It's not, and these girls have been training hard. I know they've been improving their starts year on year. It's a program that's developing really well.
8th place here in the race in February. Her World Cup best was in Sigulda, 4th place. 5th best speed. This is a nice looking run. 4th at the start, nice. 4th at the moment.
Both the Chinese girls had a little bit of, they couldn't really find their feet in the mono, could they here? But this is looking like a very nice run.
A little bit more control. Brake, 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 she shouts. 53.12, 4th at the line off the 4th best start. So she's a 10th, 2 tenths actually, 21 hundredths ahead of Angia Greco, Margot Bock.
It's okay.
There's lots of agitated chatter. Afraid my Chinese isn't remotely good enough to have a clue what they were fretting about. This is nice out of 9.
It was nice. A big steer out of it, but she kept the control down that straight.
So Kim Kilicki is our leader from Alana Myers-Taylor and Lara Nolter, but Wai Mingming in 4th place at the moment. Next up, Brianna Walker of Australia. 19th women's bobsleigh start for her. Her last race was here in November 2021. Did not compete in the World Cup here last season. She's had 2 Monobob medals already this season, a silver on Friday, a bronze on Saturday. And Chiara Rodingius, her brakewoman, making her 8th World Cup start. Loving the native Aussie art on the gloves, that's gorgeous.
Third best start, 5:61. It's really nice to see these two back together. You know, when Chiara came into it in 2021, it was the first time she'd seen snow, and I guess she just wanted a little bit more of that. She's come back. She does a bit of track in the summer. So yeah, it's fab to see these two back together as a team.
Yeah, it's hard to get athletes to come all the way from Australia for 6 months, which is what's required. I mean, Brie has been living in Europe for several years to pursue her dream, and so that makes it a little easier for travel. But keeping an athlete in the back of the sled for the entire season has been a real challenge. But good start from them, 5:61, 3rd fastest. She's ahead of Alana Myers-Taylor in 2nd place at the moment. Brianna Walker does know how to drive this track, 52.90. She's in 2nd, tied with Alana Myers-Taylor. She's in very good company. Oh, and a long run up onto the rubber. Now, the drama with the rubber is not that the rubber damages the runners, but that it's got all sorts of grit and sand and various other bits of muck in it. I mean, it doesn't get hoovered, let's say. So that's what can be abrasive on the runners.
Yeah, and I hope we get a little bit of a slow-mo of that braking straight, because I'm not sure whether Chiara was pulling and holding down, or she just wasn't sure that they were at the end of the run yet.
Yeah, we'll take a look, hopefully, at the finish line. Nice load from the two of them. Very good start, 5:61. 3rd fastest so far, turning the sled on its side so they don't compound the damage. With the blonde hair and the hat there is one of her many friends in the business. So Kim Kiki, Brianna Walker, Lana Myers-Taylor, and then Lauren Alter just 100th back. Sandra Kroll helping with the sled at the bottom. They're still getting it out of the tunnel as we get ready for Melanie Hassler and Mara Morell. Mara brought onto the back of Melanie's sled this year, slid in the last couple of seasons with Martina Fonteneve. Nadia Pasternak had a baby last week with her partner Roman Heinrich. So Nadia will be hopefully coming back next year. 3rd best velocity off the 3rd best start, 5:57. That's a very strong getaway.
It is a really strong getaway, and you know, like you said, it was their first start in the race together last week in the plan, a 5th place. So what can they do here today? It's looking like a really nice run from Hassler here.
She's the bronze medalist on this track in February with Nadia Pasternak behind her. She's got every chance of a medal here. 3rd fastest start. She's in 3rd place on the splits. Was up to 2nd before the Kreisel. Can she hang on in the top 3? It's going to be very close with Lauren Alter in 4th place. She'll be 5th. 200s behind Alter. So right in there swinging. Whoa, and again, the braking stretch proving problematic.
Yeah, as you said earlier, Martin, if there's just not enough snow on the braking straight, there's nothing for it to grip onto, and you kind of just playing ice.
I think by this stage, drivers need to be thinking, right, as soon as I come to the line, I'm going to scream brakes. Because if you don't get on the brakes at the line, or as you cross the line, doing 120 Ks, so it's not like it'll be on the line, then you are going to end up in trouble. Now then, a brakewoman who knows all about that, Keisha Love, 4th here last year with Kaylee Humphries, or in February with Kaylee Humphries, and now driving. So what are we, 8 months later, 9 months later, she's driving the sled. Justina Matson making her 2nd World Cup start. Made her debut in Park City a year ago with Riley Compton, where we were in the beginning of last season. So 2 26-year-olds in this sled. All right, Keisha Love riding the crest of a wave at the moment. Her first ever World Cup appearance in the front seat was the Monobob race in La Plagne last week. She took gold. She got the 4th and a silver this weekend. So the medal haul continues. They're in and down, 5:67. That's good starting as well.
Yeah, it's not a bad getaway, is it? Justina on the back, heptathlete turned bobslayer. She still dabbles through training in the summer though for athletics. These two just get along. They're best of friends. And you know, when there's two best friends in a sled, I just always think, happy pilot, good driving.
Yeah, absolutely right. 4200's back, third best speed. Oh, and then that's all undone as she rattles the inside coming down off the Kreisel. And that's the effect it makes from third best to 10th best speed. She gets the exit of 9 all wrong as well. Started well. She's got a lot of ground to recover in the second heat. You actually heard her there. 53.41. Could hear her calling for the brakes, and immediately Stina sitting up. And look, Justina's helmet's got a real rattling there from some of those hits. Well, every mistake you can make on this track, pretty much there, made by Keisha Love. And that happens when you're a new driver. You know, everything is such fine margins of judgment, isn't it?
Yeah, and when you're going from the mono to the two-man, it's just going to feel a little bit different. As we said, it's quicker ice today, so all reactions have to be that slightly little bit quicker as well. And when you take a tap out of Kreisel like that, then you're just off your timing. That's why 9 happened like that as well.
Yeah. And the last couple of days of training, we were in the clouds. This was a very different track. Justina's helmet's going to need some attention. All right, 1 to go. You can't think them all, apparently. That's why it's a sport. Next up, Lisa Buckwitz, our silver medalist in the World Championship. Vanessa Mark behind her. She raced in La Plagne as well, Vanessa, 27-year-old brakewoman. This is only Lisa's 7th World Cup as a driver, 5.52. She has had 2 gold medals already this weekend in the Monobob. She was hoping to do exactly the same again. Fastest start, but she drops a whisker behind race leader Kiki. Now she's level. Here we go. Second best speed. Kiki was quickest all the way down, or had highest speed all the way down, and was quickest at the bottom. Now higher speed, tied by Lisa Buckwitz, and she's back into the green. It's going to be close. It's going to be close. She's got 500s in her pocket at the line, 800s in front. This could be triple gold winning weekend for Lisa Buckwitz. Slow down, baby, slow down. Just got it stopped there, Vanessa Mark. The track workers are always alert to the fact that sleds go a long way up here. Look, you see that little blue thing? That's the driver's seat. So nothing to sit on. You sit on the floor of the sled like the brakewoman, but that's what you brace yourself against, isn't it? You push with your feet and your backside's against that. That's how you don't hang on to the ropes for positioning. Yeah,
and I can confirm, as uncomfortable as that looks, is as uncomfortable as it is as well.
And the colder it gets, the less comfortable bare carbon and bare steel are. Yeah. One more run for a triple gold. She's had 3 consecutive Monobob gold medals on this track. Can she take a women's bob gold as well? Well, Yingqing of China in her 21st start in women's bobsleigh after making her debut back in December 2019 in Calgary. Brakeman Wang Yu, just 23, her 6th World Cup start. 13th and 10th in mono over the last couple of days for Ying. Let's see if she can bring herself another top 10 result in the women's bob.
.570 getaway for Ying. I mean, we were talking yesterday about that little sort of competitiveness between her and her teammate Huai. Huai sitting in 7th.
Yeah, Ying was definitely the better of the two in both of the mono races. Off the 9th best start, she's going to need to find something special to catch her teammate in the 2-seater sled. That's not bad. Still 9th on the splits, only the 10th best speed. Again, clean from 9 to 10. Nice height in 10. It's not looking bad. Up to 8th place on the splits. No, back to ninth. 200s behind Andrea Grecu and 2/10 behind Wai Ming Ming, her teammate. So Wai is winning that particular battle of the drivers at the moment, 53-32. Well, not a bad exit off the Kreisel. They started 600s slower than Wai Ming Ming, which should translate to about 1800s back at the bottom, all other things being equal. They ended up 2/10 back. So the start is having a big effect in the battle of the two Chinese sleds. Fifteenth of our starters this morning, the final day of action in Innsbruck, the final day of action in 2023, come to that. Bianca Ribby with Niamh Hockey again behind her. Ninth race together for these two. Bianca made her debut in Altenburg in 2019 as a brakewoman in the World Cup with Alicia Rissling, that started her World Cup driver's career in the season opener last year in Whistler, and Niamh has been with her every trip since. 5:68 the getaway, couple of hundreds quicker than we just saw from Yingqing of China.
Yeah, it's not a bad getaway. I know that Niamh did a little bit driving earlier last year as well, went to the pilot school in Lake Placid, but has decided to stay on the back of the sled for now.
So, did she terrify herself or her brakewoman role? That's the question.
Terrified me.
Well, look, maybe it's, you know, it's not for everybody.
Well, these two make a great team as well together. If you watch them on social media, they train together, they work together through the summer. So it's really nice to see when that equates to a good season as well.
Nice height in 10. Nice run down at the bottom of the track. It's going to be a top 8 run for Bianca Ribby. Off the 9th best start, they are 8th at the line. A 10th behind Wai Ming Ming and nearly a 10th ahead of Andrea Grecu. So a little bit in no man's land there. Oh! Yikes. And the driver there is desperate to try and do something else to slow the sled. Doesn't happen. Never reach out to grab the railings, ever.
Hands and feet inside the sled at all times, please.
Oh, yeah. Keep your hands and feet inside the ride. The rules are there for a reason, aren't they? Well, again, even experienced brakewomen like Niamh, not able to get the sled stopped here. This is a tricky track to stop on. And again, down in the labyrinth, when you're a whisker off, those three sleds, three corners whip at you so quickly.
Yeah.
If you're off in 11, you're off in 12 and 13 as well.
Yeah, it's kind of got a rhythm to it, 11, 12 and 13.
I always think it's like the lower labyrinth in Koenigsee. You're either golden down the middle or you hit everything in sight. 16th of 19 sleds, Cynthia Appia with Leah Walkenden behind her. 18th driving for Cynthia, 13 as a brakewoman in the World Cup, and 7th World Cup start for Leah, who started her career last year. And again, although you want to try and keep athletes healthy and give your alternates races to keep them in the frame and keep them engaged, you try and make sure that the driver-brakewoman combination is as cohesive as possible.
Yeah, it's really important that you get that amount of time working together, so you can practice. You know, timing is so important on a two-man sled at the top of the track, ensuring that you get that hit time together.
Makes it really hard to be an alternate though, because you don't get the run repetition and then suddenly you're called in off the bench, and it's never for a training day, it's always on race day. And so you have to try and keep people healthy and race ready. Cynthia Appia currently slipping away from the 8th best start down to 11th position. I think she's going to be quite happy to see the back of Innsbruck. Has not had the greatest time here, 53.36. 8th place in the first day in Mono. Again, look at the sled rocking and rolling. The brakes are basically just metal teeth that you pull on a lever and they dig down underneath the sled into the ice, but they do need ice. Scooping up lots of snow doesn't really slow you down a lot.
No, and some of our more experienced brakewomen will put the brakes on, take them off, put them on again, just try and gain some traction.
Yeah.
I suppose sometimes if you're just holding the brakes on and it's not gripping, then you waste a little bit of time on that brake straight.
So yet another sled. Probably about 50% of our sleds have shot off on the rubber, but Cynthia has the altitude record there. Welcome back to World Cup racing this weekend for Austria's Kati Beil. Missed the whole of last season, the 2021 Women's Bobsleigh World Cup champion, and her brand new debutant brakewoman, Izabela Indrikova. Izabela has had one official bobsleigh race in the Europe Cup in Lillehammer 2 weeks ago. So this is her second actual race. Welcome to the big leagues. Kati, her first race since January 2022. She took a bronze medal here in her Crystal Globe winning season in January 21. She grew up sliding this track. She knows how to get down. 5:72 start. That should give her a chance to be firmly in the top 10.
Yeah, you know, we said that Kati had some health concerns last year. It's great to see her back training, back on the ice. Her brakewoman, a new brakewoman. I have a look at her Instagram. She likes a bit of rock climbing. I don't know if we've had a rock climbing brakewoman before, Martin.
I'm not sure if we have either. 14th at the start, up to 12th place, 10th best speed. She will be able to outdrive the start. Little late flop out of 9, down into 10. Big height. Did she touch the woodwork there? Either way, looping it high. Now needs speed in the lower labyrinth. Not going to be top 10. Where is she going to be at the line? 13th place, 53.41. So a couple of errors creeping in there. Really trying to hang it out for speed. And her rookie brakewoman gets it stopped by the Christmas tree. Round of applause. Excellent job for Izabela Indrikova. So good job. 13th place. They are tied with Keisha Love. So there's immediately a battle on there between Keisha Love and Kati Beil.
I'm wondering if this is a newer sled for Kati that she's driving. I'm not sure which to see in a different wrap, but I don't know if it's the same sled.
Almost everybody who doesn't have a national sled builder will be in a BTC of some vintage, newer, older. It is the default sled nowadays. And in the 19 sled field, we've probably got at least 15 BTCs. So we've had 17 sleds down, 2 to go. This is Giada Andreuti of Italy, 13th World Cup start for her, 9th for her brakewoman, Tania Vicenzino. 3 of those were as a driver. She's returned to the back handles. I mean, she hasn't just started 3 races, she started 3 World Cup races as a driver. Giada with her best results here in December 2020, a 10th and a 12th place finish in the double race weekend here.
Yeah, we're not going to see quickest of starts from this pair, but, you know, Giada got a great drive on her. Let's see what she can do with that start time and see if she can bring it down a little bit quicker.
17th at the start. She had 2 17th place finishes in the Monobob race. Nice height in 10, keeping her away from the woodwork. A good exit. Oh, a little late going into 11. Across the line, she'll be in 18th place, Giada Andreuti. Annie Mahata there on the left, and Giovanni Molisano, who converted from skeleton to bobsleigh and is now helping coach the bob team. You'll see Italian legend Simone Bertazzo helping out down at the bottom as well. Again here early on, little tap running down to the Kreisel, puts you into a skid going in, which means, Mika, that it's kind of hard to control.
Yeah, it shoots you up a little bit, so you've got to get on the steer a little bit quicker and be prepared for that. And then a little bit of a flop out of 9, which sent her over to the wall, and a tap before going into 10 as well.
Well, familiar errors even from some of the very best drivers. So there are Giada and Tania, and our final sled this morning Julia Slupecker and Julia Janusz, both making their World Cup debuts. Julia Slupecker driving, raced here in Europe Cup in December last year. Julia Janusz, just 22, 2 Europe Cup races in Lillehammer last 2 weekends ago, is the total sum of her official racing experience in bobsleighs. So very new to the programme, both of these athletes. Julia Slupecker actually did 3 World Cup races as a brakewoman as well.
6:02 getaway, but we spoke about this yesterday, Martin. What a fantastic experience this is for Julia, because clearly Poland have got a programme underway. They're progressing their athletes, and it's what's to come in the years to come as well, isn't it?
And that's exactly right. Everybody starts from zero, and so you have to build up the programme, and it's great to see Poland with 2 sleds in the World Cup, not just sliding. Big hit there as she came very early off the turn in the exit of Kreisel. Little tap, 9 to 10, not the first, won't be the last to do that. All in all, though, this is a pretty nice looking drive for a debutante driver in the World Cup. Oh, and again, brings it down very early into the wall. Her visor has popped off.
Yeah.
So she's doing, oh no, it hasn't, it's sort of still there.
It popped up, I think.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, she's got
no,
a cut on her eyebrow as well, so it looks like she's got a couple of rounds with the Innsbruck track. I wonder if that was on the exit of Kreisel.
I think it quite
See from the marks on the top of the sled, on the cowl there, where the paint is missing, that you do get hit a lot. Well, it wasn't before the start, that's for sure. So she clicks the visor down. Here's exit Kreisel. Boom.
Ooh.
And again, you know, there's a few of these where the helmet, yeah, that's, you know, you see there the cowl comes over and hits the head. The body's stability mechanisms are fantastic. But again, down into the lower labyrinth, she's trying to squint through 120 km/h sub-zero wind. So that'll freeze your eyeballs as quick as look at you. Julia Slupecker receiving attention. Lisa Buckwitz and Vanessa Mark are our first heat leaders. Buckwitz looking for a 3rd win this weekend. Never mind any other metrics. Race 1 in the Monobob, race 2 in the Monobob, and now leads in the women's bobsleigh. Not by much. You never win by much in this place. So Lisa Buckwitz, Vanessa Mark at the top of the pile. World champions Kim Kiki and Leonie Fiebig in second, just 800s back. Then the logjam, Walker, Myers-Taylor, Nolter, Hassler. That's a 4-way battle for the final medal. And then Wai Ming Ming, a 10th ahead of Bianca Ribby. And then you've got Anje Grecu, Ying Ching, Margot Bock, Cynthia Appiah. That's another 4-way battle covered by 600s. A dead heat behind them, Katie Bile and Keisha Love. Then 500s between Nikki McSweeney and Wyszewski. And then the 3 remaining sleds will all go in reverse order, as the entire field does in the second heat. So Julia's Slupecker and Janusz will be first off, and it will be Lisa Marie Buckwitz and Vanessa Mark who go last to try and claim a 3rd victory on the ice. We'll be back with the second and deciding heat at 11:30, 10:30 GMT, 05:30 Eastern. See you then. Bye for now.
bike.